There we go. So hello, everybody who's joined us live, and hello to everybody who's watching on replay, because this will be made available. This is a session from Love Surveying, the Surveyor Hub, Women in Surveying. I called it Tools for Schools, which I thought had a nice ring to it. Molly, you're from the Chartered Surveyors Training Trust. Do you want to give a brief intro?
Thank you so much for joining. I'm Molly. I am the Programme Manager of the Chartered Surveyors Training Trust. And I'm going to be talking about our school programme, My About My Future, and how we can all work together to do more schools engagement and more schools outreach around careers within the built environment. So who is the Chartered Surveyors Training Trust? We are a charity founded by the Worshipful Company of Chartered Surveyors in the 1980s. And our charitable aim is to support all individuals wanting to pursue a career in surveying and to remove any barriers that they may face. Historically, so previously, we provided apprenticeship support, and we did this up until 2005, where the government changed legislation and it actually became too much for what was a relatively small charity to provide the level of support that the government now wants to do. So we partnered with the University College of Estate Management in Reading, and they provided this apprenticeship support. And we decided to sort of pivot to meet our charitable aims. So instead, we decided to do three things. The first is to try and inspire the next generation through our school programme, My About My Future, to pursue not only careers in surveying, but careers in the wider built environment. We do that in three ways. So we have a GCSE and A-level programme. We run an annual school competition, and we've also developed a sustainability club called Get Zero. We also offer, for those who are interested in careers within the built environment, next step support. So we signpost to qualifications and further study. We also signpost and introduce sort of other schools outreach programs within the built environment. So whether that's summer schools, whether that's like in-person workshops. We also highlight career paths and try and make connections between schools and employers. And then we also provide bursaries for the access courses at the University College of Estate Management. And we also fund dyslexia and ADHD assessments, again, through UCEM. And then the last thing that we do is something that we've been doing fairly well. We've gone back to our roots, but it's something that we're picking up again fairly recently. We're trying to have conversations with employers to discuss what barriers they may be facing for taking on apprenticeships or apprentices. So we talk to SMEs, but we also talk to some of the larger companies. So whether that's small companies who would like to take an apprentice, they're not sure how, or maybe they're a larger company and they're coming up with some challenges. So it's to have those sort of initial conversations so we can understand what challenges they may be facing and how we can support. And then also we support apprentices through RICS, Lionheart and the Worshipful Company. And I've also included here on the right-hand side some photos of some students who've taken part in My About My Future. So the first one is a group of 16-year-olds who've used our GCSE programme. And then the bottom two photos are previous winners of our school competition. So to go into a bit more detail about My About My Future, we've got a GCSE and A-level programme. And the way the programme works is we've collaborated with teachers to curate industry resources. So these are pre-existing resources that are already out there in the built environment. And we have mapped them to the core modules within the geography curriculum. And we've done that for all the major awarding bodies in the UK. So that's AQA, OCR and EdExcel. And the reason we've done this is to enable teachers to embed careers education into their lessons and help students make connections between their studies and career opportunities. So ideally, we've got one module in the GCSE geography curriculum called Urban Environments. So that looks at how cities and towns are formed. The teacher is delivering the core content, and within our presentations and workshops, we have careers links. You can actually see one here in the image there. So when a student's learning about how cities and towns are formed, they'll also learn what a surveyor does, what a planner does. And we find that a really natural way of embedding career education. And it also means that if a young person is enjoying a particular topic or a particular subject, they're signposted to the relevant careers that might also be of interest to them. As part of the GCSE and A-level programme, we supply lesson plans, presentations and worksheets. So they're all there and teachers can just download them by registering on our website, and they're good to go. We've also spoke to teachers and found that a lot of teachers have been delivering their sort of lesson plan for years, and they've got their own presentation. And what they've actually been doing is going into our resources and lifting our careers resources. So we wanted to make it as easy as possible for teachers. So we've actually are in the process of developing a careers resources document, which has all of our careers resources and how they're mapped to the curriculum. So it takes out that step for teachers. And then we also got a piece of feedback from the teacher that actually we could create that into a document for young people, so that at the end of the lesson, if they've been signposted to a career of a certain type of surveying or maybe a planner, they can then take this resources document and go do some more research for themselves. We also facilitate careers talks and site visits with local professionals. We think it's really important to get young people to connect with young professionals or any professionals, and also visit workplaces. It can be tricky, especially with site visits, for safeguarding issues or health and safety. But if you work for a company that would be interested in either providing career talks or site visits, please get in touch. And then we're also Skills Builder accredited. So that is a social enterprise that looks at building essential skills around employment into school outreach. And the idea is that there are 8 essential skills around employment that will be used, that you can teach to 4-year-olds, that people will still be developing, practicing at 65 or beyond. So by delivering My Right, My Future, not only do you get the core curriculum and signposted career knowledge, you also get a chance for students to practice and reflect on employability skills. And this is our lesson plan. And here's an example of how the document that the teachers receive, of how we map it to the curriculum. So alongside our GCSE and A-level programme, we also have a school competition. We run this every year, and this is our 3rd year of running it. And we got some feedback from teachers last year that they love the school competition and they want to use it with their students again, but worried that it might be a bit repetitive. So we decided to add a theme this year. I spoke to teachers about what theme would be, like what theme would engage students and they would enjoy it. And we came up with the idea of having a theme of wellbeing. So our theme is designing for wellbeing in the built environment. So we challenge young people ages 11 to 18. We have 3 separate age categories to redesign a local building or space. And we ask them to focus on sustainability, the design of the new space, and the needs of the local community. And it is definitely one of the highlights for us as an organisation to see the entries. I've actually got examples here on the right-hand side. So this is actually from the winning entry in the age category 11 to 14. This was done by a young girl, age 12, and this is her designs for a local community centre. And then she's used, this is also an image that's been lifted from her presentation, and that's an aerial view of the area that she wants to redevelop in her local area. So as you can see, it's a concrete space that's not been used. So yeah, we're really excited to see the competition entries for this year, and the competition is launching in January. And then we've also developed a sustainability club, and this was as requested from some teachers. They get asked to deliver sustainability clubs, like an after-school club, that's either by other colleagues or by students. So we partnered with an organisation called Get Zero, and we've created a series of 8 workshops that focus on the climate and energy crisis. And then we also created an accompanied gamified web-based app. So this creates a digital twin of the home. It's a bit like Sims. So young people the user will basically go into a house and click on different utensils or different appliances within the house, and it will give them an energy rating. And the purpose of the game is to reduce the carbon footprint of the home. The app is an MPV, so it's in the really early stages. But we've done a pilot series with some schools, and we're hoping to expand and roll out to more over the next coming year. So why do we need My Right, My Future? why do we feel like we wanted to design it the way that we have? When we did a pilot study and went out to lots of schools, we realised that there were two common themes amongst young people, teachers, and just schools generally about careers within the built environment. And one of them was just a lack of awareness about the careers, I think. And this was across all young people, teachers and parents. And I feel like when we're having a conversation about careers with young people, teachers and parents sometimes get missed out of the conversation, and they have huge capacity to influence young people and their decisions. So having them part of the conversation is just as important. So we found there was just a lack of awareness about the careers when we spoke to young people. They either thought a career within the built environment consisted of hard hats, muddy boots, or the other end of the spectrum was they said that they could name architect as a career. And obviously there's a huge range of careers in between that they're just not aware of, and therefore not taking the steps to pursue as a career. And then there are a lot of misconceptions about who would join the sector in the built environment. And obviously, well, as an organisation, feel like built environment has got such a huge range of careers that is open to everybody, and everybody can have a great career within the built environment. And we found that very few people sort of aspired to join. When we spoke to people who were in the sector and said, well, how did you get in here? Funnily enough, most people say that they fell in accidentally, or they, ended up here by accident. So yeah, we wanted to create a program that generated an awareness about the careers. And then secondly, we wanted to make sure it was accessible to all young people and all schools. So we made sure that the program was fully funded and it's completely free. So we'll never charge any schools to use any of the content that I've talked about today. It's really easy for teachers to deliver. Teachers are already overstretched, so it requires no additional time or training to deliver. It's a completely scalable model, so it could reach all schools in the UK, and that's the ambitious target that we've set for ourselves. And we want to provide support to all people from all backgrounds as part of our charitable aim. And we also spoke to schools and found that in terms of built environment schools engagement, there are definitely hot spots and cold spots, and that's definitely dependent on where built environment projects are going on. So we wanted to make sure that this could reach the sort of cold spots where there's not as much activity from the built environment going on. So our impact and successes. So far we have reached 561 teachers since we did our pilot back in 2020. And between the academic years of 2021/2022 to 2022/2023, we've doubled for engagement. So we had, I think, just under 250 teachers in July 2022. And by July 2023, we had just over 500, which is fantastic. The program's growing really quickly, and it's great to see that so many teachers are engaging with us. We're currently doing a piece of research to look at what that translates to in terms of how many schools, where they're located, and the distribution. The way this teachers access our material is they register on our website for free. We try to keep the registration form as sort of short and light touch as possible. So it's quick and easy for teachers, but also not to deter any teachers. That means that we're now doing a piece of research to sort of retrospectively to sort of understand who our audience is and where they are. We've also, as part of the registration form, we asked teachers to say how many students will be using our content. And from that data, we've been able to estimate that we're reaching around 90,000 students across the UK, which is fantastic. And we had over 800 students participate in our school competition from ages 11 to 18. Which was just amazing to have. And then we also wanted to design a program that supported schools as well as helping the students. So by delivering My Environment, My Future, schools will achieve the Gatsby benchmarks 4, 5 and 6, which is an Ofsted requirement. And then on the right-hand side, I've just put some stats from our most recent student survey. So 75% of students taking part in My Environment, My Future would be interested in learning more about careers within the built environment. And 90% of students taking part in My Environment, My Future reported having a better understanding of the built environments and the careers within the sector. which is fantastic to get feedback from students. And then I just wanted to have a few minutes to talk about collaboration support. So if you're interested in My Bright, My Future and want to know ways that you can support it or use My Bright, My Future as part of your school's outreach, either with your organisation or personally, I've just listed a few ways that you can do that. So you can deliver a careers talk or host a site visit. So we have a mailing list which you can register to, and you'll be added to our database. And what we'd ideally like to do is, if we have a school that's delivering My Bright, My Future, and they contact us saying we would love an industry professional to come in, deliver a schools talk, we'd go to our database, reach out to anybody in the local area, and then they have an option to take that offer up and deliver a schools talk. You can obviously always opt out anytime, but if you're interested in that, you can sign up to our mailing list. If you have your own relationship with schools, maybe you're already delivering schools talks, we can have some slides that we can add to the end of your presentation to signpost to My Bright, My Future. And that just helps extend our reach and get into more schools. And then we're also thinking, we are actually developing, but it's in the very, very early stages of a build your own careers talk. And this is the idea. When we've spoken to people from different companies, they feel a bit hesitant about how to deliver a careers talk. Maybe they've just started out in their career, or maybe they've been in their career for 20 plus years. They don't always know how to pitch to, say, a group of 15-year-olds about their sector, about their role. So we're creating a template presentation that kind of gives tips and tricks in terms of what level you need to be pitching at it, what's really engaging for young people, what you should include. Like I said, we're in a really early stages of developing that. And if anybody's interested in being part of that development process, please reach out after this. We'd love to have some feedback or have your thoughts and experiences from maybe careers talks that you've already delivered. The second thing you can do is promote My Bright, My Future to your local schools. We have a pre-drafted sort of email template that does the sort of elevator pitch for My Bright, My Future. You can customize this, edit it, and then if you can send it on to your local schools, we find that recommendations from somebody else about our schools program go to a really, really long way, especially with teachers. So that'd be greatly appreciated. As I said, the main part of our program is the careers resources, and they're all resources that have been created by the sector. So maybe your organisation has some careers resources, whether that's case studies, videos, anything to do with the built environment and its careers. If you're happy, if you could share those with us, we'd love to embed them into our program. We feel like the more options, the more information you have available, the stronger the program will be. And the last one is a really easy one. You can follow us on social media. It really helps extend our reach and sort of boost our network, and follow and like or share our content. And we have our handles there. So that's everything from me. And if you have any questions, please let me know.
That's great, Molly. Thanks so much for giving that that overview. There's a couple of things from me. I popped the link in the chat for those who are here live for the website, so you can go off and have a look, and we'll make these slides and that links and whatnot available. So a couple of things. Noted down. You at the start you talked about assessments for dyslexia and ADHD. I take it that's for kids who have got that. How does that work? How do you identify them, or how does that? That's really interesting.
We do that through our partnership with the University College of Estate Management in Reading. So we work with the disabilities coordinator, and they have students that are coming through that are doing degree level apprentices in surveying, and they may have gone through the whole school career and not realizing that they have ADHD or dyslexia. And when they come to do their degree level apprenticeships, they find that they're having difficulties. That coordinator screens students and will need them to have assessments, but they're around £200, and a lot of young people may not be able to afford that. So we provide bursaries that can facilitate that funding.
I think that's a great thing to do. and to raise awareness of, because lots and lots of surveyors that I know are neurodiverse on, some scale or other. And to know these things at the start of your career is so much better than later
Yeah.
on. One thing that I would add for anybody listening, and maybe you, Molly, if you've not picked up on it, Estates Gazette back in September did a really good supplement on neurodiversity and careers starting out, and there were lots of different case studies and things like that there. So that might be a resource that you could add to, or we'll add a link to it as as part of this session, because that was just really interesting to see as well. And also great to see that you've been collecting stats and information, and asking schools and the people, what they want, what do they need, what's it look like, and then trying to map it across, because, we can turn up with, hey, let me tell you about my most exciting job as a surveyor. And it can fall flat totally, but it's not relevant. And there's such limited time, isn't there, in schools to cram everything in, and all we can really do is plant seeds of ideas and signposts and help people find their way. Can't ram it down their throat as much as we would like to.
And it's a great, if you're doing a careers talk, like you said, you have got limited time, you're trying to plant that seed. My future is a way to keep it going after you've done that careers talk. So whether it's an ongoing relationship you have with schools where you maybe go and do a career talk once a year, if you can signpost to my future, it means that students can then continue their journey and exploring and finding more information in careers, or teachers can continue to deliver it in their lesson. And it just means that it's not, it just pops up once a year and you have a conversation about careers within the built environment and then goes away. It keeps the engagement consistent. And I think we find that being at the forefront of students' minds in terms of that repetition of constantly seeing and hearing about these careers will definitely improve whether they want to go into it or not. So, yeah.
In terms of the surveyors and people we've got on this call and watching on the replay, and you've talked a little bit about how they can get involved with the Chartered Surveying Training Trust. So they can register with you and be on your list, and sort of become ambassadors or get involved in different things. Is there a sort of a network of support for them? Do they all know each other?
No, this is actually something really new that we're looking to start.
Okay.
And it's more just, we get employers going, we'd love to have school talks, and we have obviously schools that want to have people in, and it's just an easy way for us to sort of match local schools. But
so it's sort of matching a school with a person in an area.
100%.
So some of the ladies and some of the people who are joining this call are interested in doing they're getting their fellowship. A lot of them are going into schools already, or they're doing it, sort of ad hoc, but they want to get more involved. And I think this gives a nice, sort of framework, because it is a nerve-wracking thing. We're not teachers, at the end of the day, but nobody's expecting us to be either. But there's a few different things that come to mind as to the way that people can get involved. If you want to do your, as a way of showing that you're, demonstrating the future of the profession, etc., and all the things you need to do for your fellowship. So things like helping build a network. So one of the things that we can do, we've got our directory, Women in Surveying directory. We can add a tag for Chartered Surveyors Training Trust ambassador or something, and you can find out who they are. It's not repeating what you're doing, but as surveyors going in, it'd be great if we could say, has this happened to you, or what did you find? But also, you don't need to create it all. We're all very capable, and some of the women here might get some inspiration to go and help and create some of those things. Whether even if that's just a WhatsApp group, for people going into schools and signposting. A great thing that you said there was about sharing resources. So just like that link to the Estates Gazette supplement I mentioned, I know quite a few ladies, have their own slides or have great information that they use, and pooling all of that together can be really helpful. Something that we've got in the hub is a list of, just different places where you can get started. But to actually feed it into then what you deliver in the schools is great.
Yeah, that'd be fantastic. Yeah, any resource that you can share. And I think that is, is sharing all the knowledge that we've all got, and vice versa. If there's tips in terms of something that's worked really well within schools, we'd love to hear it. And that's the whole idea of building your own careers talk. It's just sharing that knowledge and giving people a first step so that they want to do it. And then, I love the idea of having the network. The only reason why we're doing it is just because we have a sort of supply and demand from both sides of schools. But if you've got something that's already created, it'd be fantastic to.
Well, do you know what? A network just starts with a WhatsApp group and 2 or 3 people in it. We don't have to overthink these things. But it's, there's strength in numbers. And what's great is that not everybody has to go into schools, by sharing your resources, by connecting on social media, so things that I'm thinking of, the thought of going into we've got middle and upper schools here, the thought of going into my son's school, he would absolutely cringe, a death if I walked in, but I'm thinking, I can share this with the head of year and geography teacher. I did a bit with younger kids with Get Kids into Survey, and they've got all those posters. I ordered a few and took them to the local primary school. My daughter was, got a sticker for it or whatever. But they're just, I can't go into schools at the moment, but there are other things that you can still do. And I think that's really important, that it's not all about actually being in the school.
Yeah.
Because actually some of us are quite nervous.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I definitely find it going into schools and delivery is a hard age group to pitch to. They don't always want to hear careers advice at that stage. It's a daunting prospect for them and for the person delivering it, hearing the information. So there's loads of ways that you can support the program and sort of encourage people to pursue a career within either surveying or the wider built environment without having to physically go in. Yeah, I completely agree.
Yeah.
If you want to see all our resources, you can do that as well by registering on our website, My Environment, My Future. So NEMF Careers. It's the same process that the teachers use. It takes a couple of minutes and you can see all our resources there.
Things you can do, on your LinkedIn profile, follow the page, the ST page on social media. Even, just sort of take a bit of a screenshot or you just post and just share that you've been here. It just
definitely.
That let us know that things exist. Anything else from anyone?
Hi, yes, it's Julie here. I don't really know much about sustainability, but it all seems very interesting. But I'm not sure I could go and deliver something like this. Is there any sort of training that goes with it, or do you need to have a lot of knowledge?
So for our schools program, the sort of industry professionals that go in wouldn't deliver the program. It's all the teachers. We don't provide any training. And the idea is that, well, for our sustainability club, we have sort of a teacher's pack that gives the teachers an introduction. And then the teachers deliver the series of 8 workshops. Again, if you wanted to come in as a professional to deliver it, we can share the teacher's pack and it gives background information about sustainability. But we wanted to kind of keep it quite light touch for teachers and not require any additional training. So just have all the information there readily sort of accessible. So that helps.
So a lot about this is about how easy it is to do. So for making it easy for teachers, and you're providing them with the content that they should know at least something about, then it's easy for them to deliver. For us then as volunteers or as surveyors, there's, going in and sort of doing career talks, but there's even, speaking to the schools and supporting on some of these sessions. And no, we're not all experts on sustainability, but I think sometimes what we provide is context.
Yeah, 100%.
So for example, I think Julie does, valuation. So, they might be talking about sustainability, but from a valuation point of view, we're starting to see things like you can't, so green mortgages, you can't get a mortgage or you can't let a house until it's got a certain EPC rating. What's an EPC? And it's sort of putting these things in context for people. And the reason that we have this is so that we can get a better environment, overall. So we don't need to be experts on anything, but to show that it sort of crosses boundaries, if you like, and it's also like pure subjects.
Yeah, 100%. We've had, again, it's not on this topic of sustainability, but a similar idea that we had people who want to do careers talks and be like, I don't know enough about careers within the built environment. I just know why particular area of debating, but actually, so much more about the built environment than a 15-year-old does. And it's the same with sustainability. You don't need to be an expert in the breadth of sustainability across the whole built environment. But like you said, Marion, if you can provide context to your bit, along with the materials that we provided, it does really help for the students. And I think everybody knows more than they always think.
And from my experience, a lot of students or sort of early careers, they just want a path and to know the next steps.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's clear and sometimes it's not. So they might say, well, what degree should I do? And all we need to do is signpost. If you want to get qualified, go and look at the RICS website, look at the CABE website, look at the, whatever it is, website. Look, it's signposting all the time. So if you ever don't know an answer, it's okay to say that, and you can signpost and make suggestions, and at least say they've got something to toddle off and go and do. Well, that's how I deal with this. These things anyway.
Definitely great. And then they can find somebody who maybe knows more and stuff like that. Like I think it's if you can signpost to all the resources out there.
And the other thing is, and so for example, sustainability, that's something that we all need to start upping our game on anyway. So from a, if you find that there are things that you're being asked in school, okay, you might not want to go and train to do retrofit and sustainability, but you might start to tune into a few more CPD sessions on sustainability, and it's sort of using that learning as part of your CPD plan going forward anyway,
Yeah, definitely.
We'll finish that there. Then thank you ever so much for your time, Molly. Really useful, and I hope everybody found that helpful. We'll share this on the website, so have a look at lovesurveying.com if you're watching on YouTube. If you're watching it, you probably found it. But anyway, you'll find it. We'll share some of the slides and resources and various bits and pieces. But thanks so much, everybody, for coming today.